If you've got a triangle on the inside of your birth chart, it looks like this. This means you have a superpower, and it also means you have a defense mechanism. The Grand Trine is typically represented by a blue triangle. On some apps, I think it's green, but for the most part, it's usually blue. And the Grand Trine represents 3 planets or points that are all within 120 degrees of each other, roughly. A Grand Trine represents a closed circuit of energy. The energy is moving in a circle, essentially, but in the shape of a triangle, if that makes sense. And when it's moving in this triangle via trines, it means the energy is moving virtually uninterrupted. So on the plus side of this, Grand Trines can represent a superpower. So let's say you have a Grand Trine that's all in water. So a water Grand Trine is going to give someone heightened water abilities. So a heightened sense of intuition, a heightened sense of compassion and empathy, and a natural connection to the emotional realm. It's also going to show a defense mechanism. Water is very protective and very sensitive. And when you have that closed circuit of energy, in water signs, it represents a part of you that on a very unconscious level knows that you're sensitive and that you've been hurt before and you don't want to get hurt again. So you will do things consciously and unconsciously to make sure you don't get hurt again. A lot of times this will look like someone who really wants to be close to someone but also has a fear of intimacy, so they cheat or they seek out people who cheat and do things like that. If you have a Grand Trine in fire, so all 3 points of that triangle are all in fire, then your superpower is you have amazing powers of motivation. You can take action, get things done. But the downside of the Grand Fire Trine is that protective mechanism that comes from a closed circuit of fire. And fire has a very know-it-all, you can't teach me anything I don't already know kind of feeling to it. So you can reject other people's input because they can't teach you anything, you already know it all. If you have a Grand Trine in air, so all 3 points of that triangle are in air signs, then you have phenomenal powers of analysis, logic, compartmentalizing, putting things in nice, neat little boxes and making them make sense. The downside, the protective side of the Air Grand Trine is literally paralysis by analysis. You can just overthink and overthink to the point of actually not making any decisions, just staying stuck. And if you have a Grand Trine in Earth, so all 3 of those points in that triangle are in earth signs, then your superpower is you have the ability to create a sense of material stability and security. You have the ability to make the money, put it in the bank. The protective side, the downside of the Earth Grand Trine is you can be incredibly stubborn and very resistant to change. You can just keep going on autopilot in the same job, in the same relationship, and you just keep doing what you know just because you're afraid of the change. And it's possible with these Grand Trines to have more than one. You can have the Star of David, where you have one Grand Trine sitting kind of flipped upside down on top of another Grand Trine. So what's the easiest way to find out this information to get a peek at your birth chart? First thing you're going to do is you're going to go to astro-charts.com. The website should look like this when you pull it up, and if you scroll down, you'll see Create Your Astrology Birth Chart. This is where you put in your personal information, not mine, and then you'll see a handy-dandy wheel picture of your birth chart, followed by the list of planetary placements in your chart, and then after that, you'll see a list of aspects of the planets in your chart listed from the strongest to the weakest, which is kind of cool. You can see how the planets are communicating in your birth chart. And then right after that, you'll see a little section where you can get a report. And then there's a section called patterns. And this has the chart shapes inside of your chart. So like I was talking about the Grand Trine, you'll see what kind of shapes you have inside of your chart. There's lots of websites out there. I really like Astro Charts just because of this neat little feature they have.